exciting.
Welcome back to Talk Breasty to Me, featuring the
We're so
Shitty
excited.
Titty Talk.
The Shitty Titty Talk.
Today we have a special guest, Monica.
Hi.
Monica.
Yes, thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Monica
So excited.
Monica is also a breast cancer survivor. She has the same surgical oncologist as us.
Yes.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, we want to dive into relationships. Monica has been married for 16 years and had her husband by her side throughout her treatment. And Steph has been with her husband for 3 years and also had her husband. I had me, myself, and I. So we will discuss, the difference between, being a lone ranger over here as opposed to having, somebody to do cancer with.
Yes.
So let's start off with.
I'm so excited to talk about this. I feel like there's so many things to dive into and stuff, and we're so excited to have you. Welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us a couple of things. I mean, what's it like to be married? Let's go from there because you have way more experience than I do.
Well, marriage is hard, as I'm sure every relationship is. So yeah, 16 years, it's been fun, and the last year has definitely, been an experience for us. My husband's not the most affectionate person, I will say. So this has definitely been a game changer for us because in the very beginning with my diagnosis, he was the one that was very emotional. He was the one that would cry. I would be the one that would just kind of be like, I'm gonna be okay.
Shout out to us women, strong.
Yes, for sure.
I wouldn't know. Sorry.
No. But it's been an emotional roller coaster. I have 2 kids, so it's been even harder with us having to deal with them and then having to deal with those emotions as well.
Definitely.
So, but he's been amazing. I will say I was actually very surprised, and I'm even coming here today, like I mentioned to you ladies. My husband, which has never, I think in 16 years, called to find out where I'm going, who I'm going to be with, was just like...
You don't trust these young bitches.
No, he was like, so who are you meeting with? And how did you meet them? And I know you're all about the Pink Sister Warriors, but seriously, it's Miami. I'm just like...
We don't bite, not too hard.
Don't worry, I'll call you when I get there. So, it's a softer side of him that I'm seeing that I've never seen in 16 years.
Awesome.
So it is really nice. Yes.
That's
different.
good for you guys, and congrats on making it this far. That's not
agree.
unheard of in this generation, so I look up to it.
Yes.
But I'm curious, when you were diagnosed. So you were diagnosed what date of last year?
I was diagnosed in June of 2023.
Okay.
Wow.
So I was diagnosed May 2023. So me and Monica connected immediately. We found each other on TikTok or Instagram.
So my husband actually found you first.
Oh,
That's
my
how,
God.
yes.
So
Yeah,
funny.
I'm telling you, my husband was the one that was hands-on. It was I was diagnosed and he took over. So he went onto social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, and he was like,
that's so
yes.
sweet.
And he was like, okay, so this is the girl you have to meet. He's like, she's telling her story. Connect with her. And I was just like, okay. And it was really weird because even when I first reached out to you, I was like, yeah, my husband told me to reach out to you.
Wait, this actually from a third party. I'm so proud to call you guys my best.
Oh, yes.
No, but definitely, it's so crazy how, and we spoke about this the last time, how social media has impacted everybody's lives, but also our lives when it comes to connecting with people and the community and seeing how large it is, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I was never really big on TikTok. I did some funny things, but my ex-boyfriend always used to tell me you need to go on TikTok. You're hilarious. He used to videotape me around and be like, I just sent this to my sister and whatever, and you're so funny. I was like, am I funny? I don't realize I'm funny. So once I got diagnosed, I was like, all right, well, I have so much to talk about, and I have maybe I'm a little funny, black,
you're
dark
definitely
humor.
good energy. I mean, you are good energy, Crystal.
Dark humor. So I was like, let me bring some of my dark humor out, because every time I looked stuff up, it was just bitches crying.
Yeah.
No,
And
I agree.
God
And dark,
bless,
songs,
you know what I mean?
and just dark,
Yeah.
things. I remember just being in a very dark place.
Yeah, I was as well. So I was like, how do I make other people feel not so dark when I was
Plot
diagnosed.
twist. No, I'm
But-
kidding.
That's true.
So
Taking a
Monica,
negative
re-
situation out of a positive,
Yeah.
which is like pretty cool.
and so Monica reached out to me, and I was just 1 month ahead of her in
Yes.
treatment. So everything that I did, I was like, "You got to do this. You got to do this. Do it this way. Don't do it the way I did. Do it this way." So she was able to like really get. I think you perfected everything.
No, I mean
basically.
chemo, thanks to you, was, it sounds horrible to say it was amazing, but
Yeah,
it really
no, that's
was.
that is
but it-
amazing.
Yes,
Like,
but I feel bad sometimes even saying it because I know everybody's journey is different, and that's the one thing that I tell everybody. Look, just because my experience was good doesn't mean yours will.
I agree.
Yours won't be. So, but Crystal definitely was like, okay, you have to do this, you have to eat this, don't eat that. I mean, she gave me like the breakdown of chemo, and I was like, okay, taking notes. I was like, I got this. I mean, we met, if you remember, we
Yeah.
met in South Miami, probably like, I think it was a couple of days before my first chemo.
Yeah.
wow.
Yes, we had lunch together, and I was like, okay. I was like, not a problem. I did everything, and I will say I only had one bad chemo session, and that was, I blame it on the nurse because she didn't hydrate me enough. I really think that's what it was. But other than that, the experience was good. Radiation was horrible,
That's-
and I reached
yeah.
out to you for radiation, if you remember.
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
So wait, who's your radiation oncologist?
Dr. Panoff.
Okay. Oh my god.
He's amazing.
I am a diehard.
No, yes, he is amazing.
Shout out.
So Dr. Panoff, yes.
So Dr. Panoff is number one, the most incredible radiation oncologist I think South Florida has. Honestly, this whole universe. He is amazing,
He
right?
is.
But I do agree. I feel like the experience is very unique.
Mhm.
We can talk about radiation. Radiation, I agree. It was it was hard. I felt like it was a very different experience than like, chemo and surgery and stuff like that. But I would love to hear your thoughts.
Well, for me, it was more so chemo. You're with somebody in the room, and I know
Right.
you didn't have a husband, but you had your family, and you had your best friend with you. Like you always had somebody with you, because
My gay bestie, shout out to
yes. And I loved what you guys would do in your little chemo room, your little dances.
know.
I mean, I lived for that, especially going through it. I was like,
polls.
that's exactly what I wanted to go. I was like, I want my chemo experience to be like Crystal's. Yes, I want it to be fun. So I had my husband, and my cousin actually joined me in one of the sessions, and I had somebody with me. So it was nice. I was never alone. Radiation, you're in a room, a cold room. You're naked from waist up.
Sounds
and
like a dream.
Did So I have a question. Did they put like your favorite music and stuff? Like,
So yes, a big shout out to Maluma. Maluma, if
Oh,
you are watching.
Maluma!
Yes, Maluma. Yes.
So wait, so Clara, shout out to Clara. She is Maluma's manager, and she's also a breast cancer survivor. And I will tag her in this post.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's the one. She has her own like kind of nonprofit organization, which is wait, I have to think about it. It's gonna come to me. It's like No
Brain.
Toca. Yeah, I know, Chemo Brain. Sorry. But yeah, she has her own, and she's incredible too. And Maluma is like, I mean,
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Let me tell you. I mean,
Caliente.
caliente. I mean, he got me really through the radiation sessions, because there was days where I would walk in there, and I mean, just having to lay on the bed, I would just start crying. And the nurses were like, but it's okay. It doesn't hurt. And it's true. It doesn't hurt, but it's more emotional.
oh, I
Because
agree.
you're there, you're by yourself, nobody's in the room with you, and you're just okay, you're listening to music, but you have a lot of time to think. And when you have a family, you can't help but not think of like, am I really gonna make it?
Yeah.
Especially with me, it spread to my lymph nodes. So it was just like, okay, we're doing radiation so that it doesn't, it gets everything, but is it really gonna get everything? Did
Yeah.
chemo get everything? You start questioning. It's just, you have way too much time to think. And those 20 minutes seem like 2 hours.
Yeah.
I hated radiation. So yes, I'm glad you didn't have to go through it, because but you probably would have taken it like a champ too. So,
I got the 8 surgeries instead of radiation. So
That's actually very true.
yeah, so I don't know which one I would have preferred, 8 surgeries or radiation. I don't know. Really?
Honestly,
Your
yeah.
surgeries were
Yeah.
a breeze though. You never got infections. You were so lucky.
Yes. I've never had infections, and I would have done a million surgeries over radiation.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like radiation was a part in my treatment, that bug. I feel like radiation was a part of the treatment where it was like, all right, this is like the end game. Um, but you're going to go through a lot of like bumps to get there, you know?
Yes.
And although our radiation oncologist was the best
Amazing.
of the best,
Yes, he was.
I do think the actual process is it's a process, and I struggled a lot too. I felt like the burns, and then just like not knowing, and then just like feeling, you know, uncomfortable to sleep, and then
Oh yeah.
it was like an emotional roller coaster, but it was also very, very nice to, you know, see Dr. Panoff's staff like weekly, and then being like, you got this, you're gonna be okay, you know, you just have to get through this, like it's gonna be a whole, you know, like it's going to be a whole process, but you will get through it. And that also like made it feel a lot.
Yes, and that's when
better.
mindset I think really comes in, because
Oh,
I
definitely.
100 like just driving myself to radiation, I would get nauseous.
It was brutal.
I
I
was
had to
like,
work-
why am I getting nauseous? And then I'd walk into the hospital, and it was like the smell.
Oh my
alone.
God, this smell of MCI.
I can close my eyes and smell MCI. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, stop it. I agree. And it's crazy because like I would work an 8-hour shift and then like, you know, leave my shift and then go to MCI to like go through radiation. And it was a struggle. And I felt like every day it got, you know, a little worse.
I have to ask, does it smell like burning flesh, or like
No.
what's the smell?
No. I don't know, like the aroma.
Too soon, too soon.
Aroma at MCI. I am a diehard MCI fan, and like everybody knows, I try to be the face of Baptist, and the smell nauseates me.
But what is, like, let's explain, what is the smell?
I can
I
walk
can't even
into. I
explain
can't
it.
explain it,
Yeah.
but I agree. And I've said it in like multiple occasions. I'm like, I walk in and I'm like,
You only
Yes.
smelt that since radiation.
Since radiation.
That's
no,
it.
No,
for me.
for me, it was like the day I was diagnosed that I walked
Oh.
in through those double doors. Like there's just like this smell and like chemo and I remember like I would so it was funny, like my parents would rotate every 3 weeks, like who would go with me to chemotherapy. And it was funny because like every single time we would walk in, like my mom and my dad would be like, are you okay? Because they would know that like the smell just like nauseated me. I don't know what it was, but like I brought it home and it was like a smell that I would go to sleep to. It was awful. But I mean, whatever. It's all you go through the process and it is what it is, and I still feel the
Yeah. Well, so for you, like things are a little bit different too. Like when you were diagnosed, you were immediately diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer.
right.
Like to a lot of people, that's
Like death.
scary. Yeah, I didn't want. I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to say it.
No,
like,
it's fine. We can laugh about it
what?
now.
Yeah,
I
we
know.
can laugh about it now.
Like,
Yeah.
No, I agree. No, I totally agree. And I'm like very open now to talking about it. It was very scary at the moment. But that's why there are young women like myself and like us who set, you know, different standards, and they set the statistics at a different, you know,
Yeah.
level and a different number. And that's why, like, again, I am not a hero. I am not anybody.
Yes,
that's,
you
like,
are. You're my
amazing,
hero.
but
You're
I
my
will
hero.
tell you that, like, I strongly say this, like, I am, and I know that there's so many women that are out there too that are diagnosed with very similar diagnoses, and like this is why we are where we are. Like, we are here to set the numbers you know, to a different standard so that, you know, the future of breast cancer can have hope. And I say it, I'm like, I will be a different trial, and I will be here to, you know, set the numbers different. Like, I remember Googling my diagnosis and like seeing the prognosis and seeing everything, and like everybody would tell me like, no, everything's gonna be okay, like we're gonna get through this, like we're going for the curative, you know, attempt. And I was like, no, there is no cure, because when you get a diagnosis of stage 4, you're like, it's terminal, you know. But we are very, very lucky that with breast cancer and the research that, you know, that has instilled in breast cancer, like, and the funds and everything that like people have like donated to be able to, for all of our doctors to be able to research breast cancer, like there is a cure. and it's so incredible. It's so incredible to say it, but also like be it.
No, you're a true warrior. I remember before being diagnosed,
yeah.
or like in the very beginning, you know, I remember having friends and family. They would come up to me and be like, "You're a warrior. You're a
Yeah.
hero." I honestly, I can say I hated that.
I know.
I
We
just
spoke about this.
I absolutely hated it. I would just stand there and, you know, with a smile on my face, yes.
You're
and
strong.
inside, I
You're
would.
positive.
I want yes, and exactly. And
There's
inside,
nobody else that could tackle
Yes,
cancer than you,
yes,
and
exactly.
it's so graceful.
Well, and I'm just like, I want to punch you in the face, and I hate cancer. You know.
Wait, what about this one? God chooses its strongest warriors, like that one. To
And
fight
you're
its
one
worst
of them.
battles. Like I got that so many freaking. So here's the thing, like I can't even talk shit because I would be that person saying that to somebody else. So okay,
No,
so
I agree.
question is, what's the right thing to say?
I don't know.
What
but
do you say when someone gets? Sorry, I'm so loud. What do
Yeah.
you say when someone gets diagnosed with cancer? Now that we are survivors, when somebody else gets diagnosed, what do you say? What's the right thing to say?
I don't know what the right thing to say is. I mean, honestly, like I had someone the other day call me and tell me, a friend, that she was, you know, tested positive and she was now going through her own journey. And she's also the same diagnosis as me. And I told her what my husband told me, which was, we're in the best fucked up situation. And at first I was like, what? I didn't really get it. And I'm like, you're right. We're in the best fucked up situation. Like, it could be worse, but it's not. So there really is. But the warrior thing, you're such the hero, I really did hate hearing it in the beginning. But I will say, after going through chemo, after going through radiation, fuck yeah, we're heroes. We're fucking warriors. Like, I know,
agree.
yes,
I know.
yes.
I definitely agree.
Yes.
Like, I hated it when people told me.
But I get it
when you
now.
get through it, you're like,
Yeah,
I am a badass.
exactly.
I'm a bad bitch.
Yes,
But okay,
you
I
are.
consider myself a hero for other people moving forward. Not for
I agree.
myself, not for my family. I'm a hero because now when people are diagnosed and they come to me, like Monica, when you came to me, I'm Monica. I want to be Monica's hero. I want her to be successful in her surgeries. I want her to be successful in chemo, because if you are, then that makes me feel so
Yes.
much better.
It's
yeah,
true.
and I definitely agree.
I agree.
So I remember, and I spoke to you about this, but I remember you telling me, like, I was like, oh, I want to get together with Monica. I want her to be like our first guest speaker, you know, and stuff like that. And you were like, she's like a big sister to me. And it's so crazy because, like, even though like your diagnoses were, you know, apart, but you guys were connected, it's very, very empowering to see that, like, even though you guys are at different points in your life, you guys are still, you know, like little sister, big sister, or like, you know, mama bear, a little bit. Like, it's super, super cool to see that, but also, you know, it like provides hope for people who are very scared to reach out to people who are older, or people who are older who are younger. You know what I mean? Like, this is like super, super big for the breast cancer community, and like age is just a number, and we're all here for each other, which I think is like
that's
super
a great point.
Yeah.
Yes, because so I went to UM for my medical oncologist is in UM, but my treatment, my radiation, and my plastic surgeons are at Baptist. But Baptist, I believe, is a young, what is it called? A young
women,
young
like,
wo- yes, where UM also has it, but it's like the cut. I like fell at the cutoff age. It was like,
Right.
oh no, you're too old. But Baptist actually was like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, you can still join, you know,
Right.
because if you can relate to the women, you can relate. It doesn't really matter
it's very
what the
diverse,
age is.
yeah.
So I thought that was really good about MCI. That with I kind of left a little bad taste in my
I have
mouth.
no idea what you guys are talking about.
It's that Y.
AYA?
Is it AYA?
I don't know if it's AOA. I have no idea acronyms, but I think they're, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I feel bad that I'm not able to.
Sorry.
Am I in that group? Like,
I think you are.
Yeah, no, you
No,
100%.
you are,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Which right now I'm trying to think. Oh God, yeah, I don't know the name.
I know. So we all have the same surgical oncologist. What's her name?
Star
Mauner. We love you.
Yes, we do.
And you know, so we were able to really connect on our experience with her. She is amazing. We love her so much, and she saved our lives.
She really did.
We also hope to have her soon.
Wait.
We hope to have her soon on
Oh,
our podcast.
Wink,
That would be
wink, wink, wink.
amazing. Yes.
But I know that, like, I told her, I was like, listen, anybody moving forward, give them my number. Like, I don't care how old they are, like, give them my number.
Oh, that's great.
Because, it's especially being with the same, community, we go to the same events, and like, it's just, we've created this family. Like, even though me and Monica were strangers, I know everything about you.
Yes.
I know more about you than half my friends, because we got so
awesome.
deep. Like, we got deep, like, about this, feelings, relationships, your husband,
Also,
all that.
like very relatable things.
Guys, I'm having a hot flash.
Oh.
Wait, I'm having a hot flash.
No, like we get it. We completely understand.
True.
We all are on hormone medication, or like some people call it chemo.
We're actually all on
basically.
the same one.
Yeah.
Whew, so I'm sweating. So we all have hot flashes. We're all in we're all in medically
Menopause.
chemically induced menopauses. Oh, our food's here. So we also, us three, can also relate because we had very similar diagnoses. So basically, our cancer is being fed through hormones.
Yes. It is.
So in order for us to be able to, cut that shit out, we have to do something about it. And shutting down the ovaries right now and putting ourselves into menopause is the best way to go about it. So we have every age group
Yes.
right here in menopause.
I know.
So throughout the day, we have some hot flashes that comes with the menopause. What else do you guys experience with the menopause?
I haven't experienced the moodiness yet, which they say that's common. I haven't experienced it yet, but really it's just the hot flashes and the vaginal dryness.
Why did you whisper?
I don't know. But it was like the vaginal dryness. A little embarrassed, but I mean it comes with it. That's just it's part of it. And everybody should know that unfortunately this is part of what your journey is going to look like. So it's not something we can escape. For me, I've decided that I'm going to do a hysterectomy just because I've already had 2 kids. I don't want any more kids. So that's the route I'm going. So I'm going through surgery actually April 17th.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But so who knows how I'm going to be feeling after that. I'm a little, maybe then I'll be going through the mood swings and the hot flashes and all that. But right now it's the hot flashes that I'm experiencing.
What about you, Steph? What you got going on with your menopause?
I'm a whole situation.
Well, let's announce that now that it's out in the world.
No, but I definitely do agree. So I too have really bad hot flashes. I do not leave my house without a fan, and I do not sleep without a fan, and I do not interact. I do not life without a fan.
Wait, quick story. The first day I met Steph, she was like, get ready for the hot flashes. And she whips out this like pocket mini fan. And she's like, don't forget to get yourself one of these. This was the first, like within the first minute that I was having a conversation
I know, and
with
like
her.
on Amazon, they're super cheap. They're like $10 to $15. Honestly, invest in them because they are the best thing. So that's actually my travel one. I have one at work. I have one next to my nightstand. I have them. I have a to-go one. I have them everywhere. That's actually really funny.
She's a sweaty bitch.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
No, you definitely do. But I do agree. I think fans is a big thing just because of the hot flashes and stuff like that. I do experience vaginal dryness as well. They call it vaginal atrophy. And it's crazy because it's like so crazy to talk about it, but also it's like really, really embarrassing. Like I'm 30 years old and I'm like, at first I was like, what is this? Like, this is crazy. But we are very lucky that nowadays, there's a lot of lubes and there's vaginal suppositories and a lot of things that are not hormonal based that we can use. And it's great. I mean, I feel like that's what's helped me a lot. I feel like, I don't know. Well, I feel like once you start experiencing like hair growth and stuff like that, I feel like I do get sometimes like a patch of hair that I'm like, oh, this is, but I feel like that was like the switch from tamoxifen to anastrozole.
Okay, the hair loss,
the
which
hair
I think the
loss.
hair loss also comes with menopause.
Right, I
anyone.
do agree. I
Mhm.
definitely do agree with that. And what else? Wait, actually, I have like my little notes. Hold on.
Oh, you have notes.
Well, I do.
I do. Why do I keep doing that? I do have a question for you guys.
Talk
I am
to
not in a
us.
relationship, so I don't experience any of this kind of stuff. How has being in a chemically induced menopause affected your marriages?
Okay, so obviously we're not as active as we used to be. My husband, although he's older than me, he is Dominican. So
Ooh.
yes. So, it's in their blood. They all the time. So we went from like every single morning at 5 o'clock being woken up to have, relationships. It was having sex it's gone dry, completely dry. And now, I mean, we through my chemo, I think we did have, sex a couple of times, and it actually wasn't painful. It was fine. It was after radiation that, for whatever reason, radiation really, really just did it for me after that. And that's when it now hurts. It's not pleasant. It's not fun. Um, and then it's not that I'm not attracted to my husband. I am, like I desire him. Like I could sit here and think of how it was before, but then when I actually have to do something, it just,
Well, because things change, and it's like you're chemically induced. Like you're very young and you're in menopause, and like these are all things that like talking about it now is not something that like 45, 50-year-olds would be talking about. You know what I mean? Like it's not something that people
Yeah.
talk about at this age. But we are chemically induced and medically induced, unfortunately. But I feel like in life there's pros and cons, and like we're very lucky to be alive. We're very lucky to have like surpassed this, and those are all things that like you work with it. You find ways that you could spice up your own relationship and stuff like that. It's not the way other people can do it, especially like at my age. I'm sure 30-year-olds are just like going nuts, but unfortunately
everything
things
has to be
change,
planned
and everything
now.
has to be planned, and but it's different, and it's a new normal, and you make the best out of it, and I think that's what's important.
Yeah. But it is hard, because then
It is hard,
because as a
definitely.
woman you then start to think, I'm not giving to my husband. Will he, right now we're going through everything, he's being very supportive, but
Right, that regret
yes,
feeling.
3-4 years from now, and if you're still not able to, please your husband, because let's be honest, that's what it is, will he then leave me? Will he venture off? Will then it then cause like some type of these are thoughts that go through everybody's minds when you
There's
realize
so
that
much
you
that's
can't
taken
perform.
away from you that you're like, oh my god, like now I have to like readjust my lifestyle.
Yes. And I think in the beginning, when you're diagnosed with breast cancer, you're just thinking the breast. You're not
Correct.
thinking of everything that it affects. Like, and no one ever told me you're going to be on this pill for the next 5 to 10 years, and it's going to cause you to not want to do anything sexually with your husband.
Right, and that your life is going to change, and like sometimes it changes just for the better, and then just like sometimes you just have to like tweak things just to like make things right, and
Yes.
it's different, but it's also it's part of the process. And I guess again, like I'm just like we're all very lucky to be alive, and unfortunately like we went through so many things that has affected our life, but we've gotten so many good things out of this too, which is like our breasties, the community.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
That's
a free boob job.
I'm still waiting for mine. But yes, looking forward to it.
Oh.
But what about you? Because now you're single.
Yeah.
So how is it to be single and going through this? You tell us.
Oh, we have a new interviewer. Are you
Yeah.
going to hire him? I love this. So for me, I mean, I was single throughout my entire cancer journey. I mean, it would have been nice to have somebody by my side, 24/7, but I did most of it alone. The major things, major surgeries and chemo, stuff like that. Like my first cancer appointment, my family came with me. My mom and my sister came as much as they could. But they do live an hour and a half away. So I am in Miami alone. I have a couple of friends, but everybody has lives. So it wasn't going to burden anybody to come with me. So basically, I would say probably about 70% of the stuff I did alone. And I think that made me a stronger person because, I'm like, all right, I'm an independent bitch. Like, I really don't need anyone. But there's times where even like the other day I was doing my PET scan and there was an empty chair next to me. It would have been nice to like be there like bitching to somebody else about how I have to drink this gallon of nasty mocha shit.
Oh God, yes,
Like,
so gross.
Yeah, so it would have been nice to like, have someone to like make jokes with and stuff. But that's why I think I also turned to the cancer community, breast cancer community, because I was able to, have them, even though they weren't with me, I still had Steph would FaceTime me or call me, text me. How is it? What are the results? How are you? So I almost felt like I had people with me at the same time. But yeah, I think it would have been nicer to go through a relationship with someone, but you don't need a relationship.
I agree.
As long as you have yourself, a couple of your friends. And that's why I created this cancer community of my own, because I feel like because I didn't have anybody here with me 24/7, it felt really good to be able to have that. But yeah, I mean, I'm ready to start dating again. I mean, during chemo everything, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard because, like, who wants to date the bald-headed Mrs. Potato looking bitch? Like, let's get real. Who wants to wake up to a bald-headed bitch that you're not married to? You know what I mean? So for me, yeah, I was a little insecure. I always wear wigs. I mean, I don't have hair right now. I have hair a little bit longer than Monica's, like probably about 2 inches long, and I have a sew-in, and I always keep it in. I think that I feel better with my hair, because
I was just gonna say, whatever makes you feel better and whatever makes you, like, who cares?
Yeah, like, I did not look as good as her. That hair, I do not look as good.
Thank you.
So
she does look great.
I feel like with my wig, this is what I looked like before I was diagnosed with cancer. So I feel back to normal,
which is great.
So, like, I feel good. I'm on the medication, but it is what it is. Chemo's over. I got my boobs. Maybe one more surgery to make things a little bit even nicer than they already are. But now that Dr. Salinas, what's good?
Come on our podcast.
Let's go. Yeah, wink, wink. My eyebrows are back, eyelashes are back. I feel like I'm back to normal, so I am ready to put myself back out there. And hopefully, I try not to tell men right away, like, oh, I just beat cancer. Like, they have no idea. When I go out,
I was just gonna ask.
When I go out, they have no. My wigs, Tammy Benz, baby, thank you for my wigs. They are like prime. Like, these are real human hair wigs. They do not look like they're sewed onto my head.
It doesn't. It looks very good.
So guys, like, don't know. And I mean, I'm fresh out of cancer treatment and stuff, so I haven't really, like, dated too much or whatever. But when I meet people, they have no idea. So that's the issue that I'm running into right now is, do I tell them right away?
I'm sure they're going to find your Instagram.
They're going to find my Instagram. I'm public, yes.
TikTok, yes.
Do I tell the men right away so that they know what they're getting themselves into? Or do I keep my social media away from them and don't, tell them and let them like me for who I am? Because it can scare guys, like, when you think of cancer, oh my God, she's going to die. But they don't realize, like, you just beat cancer. You're not, you didn't die. Like, when I correlate cancer in the past, I would correlate cancer, death.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. I think when I was first diagnosed, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to die.
I'm going to die, yeah. That's what we all think, but I don't think people are naive, and I'm a victim of being naive because I thought that too. So I can just imagine meeting a guy and being like, "Oh, I just beat breast cancer," and they're like, "Oh wow, it's so great," ghost, because they probably get scared, like, "Oh my God, is this bitch gonna give me cancer? Is it contagious?" You know what I mean? You don't know. You just don't know.
The ignorance.
It's ignorance, and the thing is, like, I can say that I was ignorant in my past. I don't know. Would I be able to date a guy with cancer?
So now that so I'm curious. What are things that have helped you go through, like, the dating process? So obviously when you went through chemotherapy and you were going through cancer treatment, you were not dating anybody.
Correct. Yeah, I was not dating.
So what kind of made you feel that you were ready to date someone? And when you did date that person for the first time, like, what were your feels? Like, how did you feel?
So for me, I think once I had the title as, like, cancer survivor or, like, in remission or whatever, I think that made me more confident, because when you're going through chemo, like, I mean, I already knew I only had one tumor. It didn't spread. Like, but when I was in chemo, when I would tell people I'm in chemo, I feel like it's kind of scary. Okay, she still has cancer. You technically still have cancer until you do the mastectomy. You get all the tissue out and it's tested, and they say that there's nothing. So at the point where my mastectomy was done, all the tissue was tested, and it came back as no cancer found anywhere. I felt like, okay, I'm officially cancer free, and I felt more confident telling a man, like, I'm cancer free right now, or in remission, whatever people want to call it. I was even more confident when I had my PET scan 2 weeks ago. PET scan tells you head to toe. So now that I'm like, all right, I'm officially in remission, no cancer, no NED, it's called no evidence of disease, nothing. I can officially be like, hey, like, I don't have cancer anymore. So that the man can be confident, okay, I'm not about to date this girl who's going to die next year. You know what I mean?
Does that make you feel?
It makes me feel a lot better because I'm 34 years old. Like I am
You're
ready.
young, yeah.
Well, I'm saying I'm a little
You're so
older.
strong.
Like,
You're so strong. You're so brave.
You're my
Thank-
hero.
You
Oh
are
my God.
You're
Oh my
my
God.
hero.
Oh my God. Yes, honey.
You're way too young to have cancer.
I know, way too young to have cancer. So, but I
kills me.
But
I
how
would
did
like-
that happen?
I would like to.
What did you eat? Is it the deodorant you use? What
Oh my
deodorant you
God.
use? Let me know so I know.
No,
not to
you
use
want to
it.
know? My dad swears it's hair dye. He says nothing else. It's the hair dye. You got it from that hair dye. Stop dyeing your hair. I don't really dye my hair is dark, but I got grays. You know what I mean? So my
Well-
dad's convinced it's from hair dye.
Lord Jesus, and I'm gonna get it again.
I've never dyed my hair.
Oh, you've never? Look, you see.
No, I'm virgin. Like, and I also just like have grays everywhere, and I don't care. I embrace them, so it's fine.
We'll just wait till you get a
it's
couple
the
years
one
older.
question I think we'll never really be able to answer. You know,
Yeah.
how did we get it? We don't know. We want to know why we got it.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
But
Star, our surgeon, told me, like, stop beating yourself up over it. You're never gonna know.
Right.
Like, it could be the
Right.
crazy. It just, it's bad luck. Like,
yeah.
You sat in a playground with 8 kids, and it was eeny, meeny, miny, mo,
yeah,
and it was like you were it.
1 in 8 women will get breast cancer in their lifetime,
And I
and
think the statistics are changing. I think
They
it's now
are.
1 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
Yeah,
Which is bizarre.
it is.
That is bizarre.
And it's getting younger and younger.
Younger, yeah, it's getting.
Yeah.
And I also
21 years old.
I also think because
Yes.
people are talking about it more though. Like a couple years back, 16 years ago, when I interviewed another woman last week, she said not many people really talked about it. So there could have been younger cases, but everyone kept it to themselves.
Right.
People
Yes.
just didn't really talk about it. And the statistics, the scientific statistics are there, but like TikTok, Instagram, and all that, no one, people like held it in. Like they were like embarrassed about it or something.
I know. And I commend you for coming out on social media and talking about it because you really helped me to also come out and be more open about my
Oh,
experience.
I agree.
Mhm.
Oh, I was like, document. Because
Yeah.
I remember you were like, I don't know if I should post it on Instagram. I'm like, post it.
Yeah.
Make people aware because you know what? You don't know if you're gonna save someone's life. I can't begin to tell you how many people reached out to me like, because of you, I got a mammogram.
Yeah.
I have a weird lump. Oh my gosh, what do? I gave them information to a radiologist. You know, a lot of people are becoming more aware that holy shit, this weird pain right here in my breast, that could be cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So every time you announce, you know, your treatments and all that, other people are looking and they're understanding that they need to go get checked.
What I don't understand is why isn't it a mandatory MRI when you have a mammogram? Because in my case, I had one in December and I was cleared. They actually called me back and said, "Oh, you know, because your breasts are dense, you should have another ultrasound." It's like, okay, fine. I had an ultrasound, came back clear. I found out that I had cancer because I had an itchy nipple.
An itchy nipple? Tell me more.
An itchy nipple. Yes. Yes. It was so bad. Like I would be driving and I was like, God, I thought it was the deodorant, not the detergent that I was using. I thought it was my bra. So I called my gynecologist and I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, my breast is super itchy. I was like, I've put lotion on it, nothing is working. And she's like, okay, well, come in. I went in and she was like, well, everything seems fine. She looked at my mammogram. She's like, well, you went in December, everything was normal. She was like, you know, for shits and giggles, let's just have an MRI. For shits and giggles.
Wow.
I was gonna say for shits and
Wow.
giggles.
So mammogram did not
It
detect
did not
your
detect.
So
no.
this is the second interview I did in this week that the mammogram did not detect.
Really? Yeah. So it didn't.
Wow.
And the MRI. So it scares me because when I have people that come and tell me like, hey, I'm going to have a mammogram and everything. And I'm like, I always want to say like, ask for an MRI
Yeah.
because they don't see it. They miss it sometimes.
Where was your tumor that you couldn't feel it?
It was closer to my chest wall.
It was in the chest
Yeah,
wall.
mine was too.
That really.
Yeah,
Yours
it was
was
closer
too.
to my chest wall. So that's why, and that's the hardest place because you can't feel
You
it.
can't feel
Yeah.
You can't feel it.
So mine, I didn't have any symptoms, like nothing like that. You can feel my tumor,
Mhm.
but when you on the mammogram and on the ultrasound, you don't see it.
Mhm.
Like, so if my radiologist was like showing me, she's like, look, Crystal, like I can't figure out how big this thing is. Like they had no idea how big it was because the tissue around the tumor.
Nope.
ADD.
Still alive. Still alive.
Do you see it?
It went away.
Check the video. Make sure it's still recording.
Yeah, we're still
Okay, good.
Oh, 40 minutes.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Wow.
So for me, the tumor seemed so big because the tissue around the tumor, my body was like basically like fighting it. It seemed so big, but the radiologist couldn't figure out because my breasts were so dense that they couldn't see the end point and the beginning point because it was a kind of the dense breast tissue was hiding the tumor
that's
inside
scary.
there. Yeah. So for me, you felt the lump, but they just didn't know, but I didn't have an itchy nipple. Like,
Well, my itchy nipple was on my left side and the cancer's on the right side.
shut up.
Yes. So if it wouldn't have been for my itchy left nipple, I would have never gone to my gynecologist because I went in December and I was cleared. I wouldn't have found that I had cancer until this December of 2023.
So why was the opposite nipple itchy?
I have no idea. And that's why I chose to have a double mastectomy because in my mind, I felt like there was something wrong with my left breast that they were not detecting.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just take them all out. And Dr. Motner actually, sent everything out to get tested. And she said the left one was clear, but the right one had stage 0. So even though I had a lumpectomy, I came back with not clear margins, and that's why I had to have a second operation. They found a lot more cancer cells when they removed everything. So she was like, you made the right choice.
Okay. So within your breast where the cancer was,
Yes.
there was still
Stage
stage
zero.
zero.
Yes.
So you had one tumor that was stage 2.
Yes.
It was 2 centimeters.
2 centimeters.
And then you had little, was it actual tumors or just cells?
No, it was tumors.
It was other cancer tumors that
that
were
were
stage
not
0.
picked up before that.
So
If it
that's
was
crazy.
yes, it is. So the whole thing, everyone's story is so different, but
insane.
I definitely say if you could request an MRI, ask for
Yeah.
an MRI.
Oh yeah, the for me mammogram and ultrasound, like you knew, okay, there's something in there, but it looks like dense breast tissue. It's probably nothing. MRI, bam, that shit
Yes.
was like
Mhm.
right there. MRI is like the only thing that really like detected. And plus, I was lucky because you could feel it. It was right above the surface of the nipple.
Yeah, ours you
That's-
can't.
yeah,
We couldn't
yeah,
feel it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It took me 2 hours in the shower to find my tumor, and I still thought I found it, but I don't know if it
I
was
remember
definitive.
Dr. Montner laying on the table and her being like, "Look, feel," and I'm like, I don't know what you're feeling.
Yeah. She's such a girl.
Yes, and I was just like, and I got scared because I'm thinking, crap, how do I not feel what she's feeling?
Yeah.
Like I could have, maybe I could have found this myself, a year ago, maybe when I was stage 0, who knows? But
Yeah.
now I'm stage 2. So it's us. But you know what? Once again, we are warriors. We are survivors.
Yeah.
Badasses.
Bad bitches.
Exactly.
Bad bitches unite.
Yes. But yeah. I appreciate you ladies having me here
You were so
today.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Yes.
So
Like I've
nice,
met Crystal
yeah.
before, but I'm so glad to finally have met you in person. Exactly. David, if you're watching, look.
You know he's gonna be
These are the two that
watching.
were gonna kill me today.
Like I said, we bite not that hard though.
It's pretty funny.
No, but yes, our food is getting cold.
Yes, we're gonna
but-
eat.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on and
Aw.
spending time with us. We really appreciate you talking about topics that are not fun to talk about. So thank you.
Yes, and I know we didn't really get too deep into it. Maybe at another
I get
occasion
it.
we could just because we kind of bounced around.
Does this mean you're coming back?
Yeah. Does this mean we get to see you
I
again?
will come back. No, and maybe a little more
She's like,
prepared.
I'll be back. Okay, Terminator over here.
Maybe next time with one of my fabulous wigs that Crystal's
Oh,
giving
I
to
have
me.
you guys can't see, but I have a whole bag of wigs right here for Monica to pick out.
Yes.
I like to donate all my stuff to her because she's my favorite.
She's been amazing. I mean, when I was like, I have to do chemo, she was like, I got you, girl. She came with this big bag, and I was
Oh my
like,
God,
oh my
I love
God, I thought I was only getting like the little cold packs for the hands and the
Oh
feet.
no, we got it
No,
all.
she
Got it
totally
all.
hooked it up. Yeah, so
Well, yay! So thank you so much for joining us on.
Talk breasty to me.
I love it. You girls are so
Wait.
cute. I didn't even try to say the name because I'm not sure what it is.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Talk breasty to me.